All right, welcome everyone. This is going to be a little bit of a different video, but this is basically going to be episode 4B of Pushing Over the Edge, or I guess it may be 3B, but playing or switching hands. I felt like this part B will be a lot easier to show you in gameplay, as most of the time when you switch a hand, it most likely occurs during gameplay. So instead of just like kind of showing you techniques, it would be nice to show you kind of how it is during gameplay, why I explain those techniques. So for our first start, we have 1, 4, 6. I guess we have to pick a good set here. So let's do a 3, or let's do a 1, a 1, and then we have a 3, 4, 6. Let's do a south. And then let's see what we can pick up here. So I don't have a really set hand yet. Okay, so there's a 2 and a west, but an 8. Okay, so maybe play evens. That could be an option here. Let's see. Let's get rid of the 7, the 5, and the 3 here. Let's get rid of our odds so that way we just have evens. I want to keep the wins because we did pass the south. And most people usually only pass one win at a time, and that was only one first pass. So if there's another wind here, we know there's still one out there, so we could get more. Okay, so there's a 5 and a 7, but there's a 6 crack. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the 5 knowing I got rid of it. Let me think about this. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we have a lot of upper tiles here. Gosh, this is kind of a stretch here to play a wind hand, I would say, especially with what we have in our hand. There's not a lot here that works with each other, but I'm going to get rid of this 5 here. I think the east, west, and the 5. Or actually, I'm going to get rid of the 4 dot, I believe, just because it really isn't doing anything with our hand. We know that there is going to be a 7 crack potentially, or I can't remember if it was a 5 or a 7. But 6, 7, 6, 7 green could work. Or, okay, there's an 8 and a 2, bam. Okay, so we're going to definitely play evens now. So we can definitely get rid of all these odds. And then we can see what kind of builds up. 2, 4, 6, 8 dragon. 2, 4, 6, 8 category is an actually really interesting one, especially for this kind of video, because playing this is probably my weakest category when it comes to switching, just because it's super difficult to. Just because most of the time, most of the hands that you can switch to are not, you can't really switch under. So, okay, so there is a pair of 8s. So I think here we have to get rid of this green dragon. Because we don't have any reds, so and we don't have any 8 dots either. And maybe if we can get a flower, so 2, 4, 6, 8 could be an option. Okay, I'm trying to just to think of all of our options here. If we keep the 4 dot, we could maybe get a 4, 6 dot, 2, 4, 4, 6, 8. But what I'm thinking is we might be able to do a 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, and then the second hand down cons of any like even numbers, and then we can keep the 4. So let's just pass 2 here to be on the safe side. Again, keeping all of the potential, because we did pick a category and we know that the category contains even numbers, and I didn't have a 2, 6, or an 8 dot, so that top hand or the second one down wouldn't have been a lost opportunity. I might have been able to get another tile from, that would have helped a hand here, but so currently at the moment we're looking at our flower hand on the bottom, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 8, and then we need to get some flowers for that, or the second hand down, 2, 4, 6, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, and then con of evens, but we didn't seem to build on any pairs of that hand, so that hand is going to be a big stretch. So we will see
Red dragon.
what we're going to be doing here. Those wins didn't come back around again, so I definitely know someone's playing them. I did pass the south wind to this player, and I never saw the light of day of it again, so I'm assuming maybe they're playing something around news.
Six
They did get rid
characters.
of a dragon though, so I'm assuming they don't want that. Okay, 6 crack got pass. Okay.
1 bamboo.
And there's another 6 bam. Okay, so that's
5
interesting.
bamboos.
I'm trying to think here what we could maybe do now. If we can get into a 2 dot, maybe
8
2, 4,
characters.
6 bam, 8 crack. Let's pass on the 8 for now. Just because we have to get into a 2 dot here for
1
that hand to be
bamboo.
possible. There's so many ways to switch in 2, 4, 6, 8 in the early game,
Green dragon.
but once you put up an exposure, you're really locked in. That's a hard part about the category, in my opinion.
5
Like for
dots.
example, the 2, 4, 6, 8 dragon hand has a pair of sixes. So if you do the pair of sixes,
8
you're basically locked
bamboos.
into that hand, as there is no other hand on the card that or in 2468 that has a
6
pair of twos.
bamboos.
And then okay, so there's a 6 bam. We'll pass on that one as well. A lot of the tiles if we need are going out, so this is good. We'll have to definitely
4
do
characters.
some switching here. Okay, we got a joker. That was very fortunate. I
East
think at
wind.
this point, with what we have, all we really
South
need to get
wind.
into is a 4 crack and then some flowers. So I'm not going to call it 2 dot or declare this as a 2 dot yet, because we're still looking pretty solid on a 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 8 hand. Because we
1
have all the
bamboo.
8s, we just need to build on the flower and then a 4 crack.
8
So,
bamboos.
and there's an 8 bam, we'll pass on that. And there's a flower. Oh wow, very nice. Okay, so
4 dots.
now we are playing on that bottom hand here. I'm gonna hit pass all here. And again, I will
North
declare
wind.
this for video purposes, just so it's a lot easier to see kind of for the viewers.
South wind.
But 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 8, that's what we're going on.
7
So a 4
dots.
crack or a flower is what we're looking for here.
Kong. South wind.
And we're basically locked into this hand here now.
1 dot.
So I'm hoping it'll come in.
1 dot.
The only other option I would say we could switch to would be,
1 character.
and again, I think about this, would be 2 and 8 with flowers. I think it's the third,
3
fourth, fifth,
dots.
6 hand down. That would be the only other option. And then if we draw into a dragon, we might be able to
7
do something.
characters.
But okay, so there's a 5 crack. That one hasn't been out yet, so let's get rid of the 6 bam.
6 bamboos.
Again, we might have been able to keep that for like potential if this hand doesn't work out, but
West wind.
the fact this hasn't been out yet though means the 4 crack could
South
be in
wind.
play, so I'm really hoping I can draw into it before it's too late.
9 characters.
Okay, so there's another 2. We'll get rid of the 5 here,
5 characters.
just because it gives us an idea of what we're seeing here. This hand
4
is weird. I
bamboos.
don't know what they're trying to do here. Maybe 5, 7, 9. It wouldn't be
8
that hand.
bamboos.
So maybe 7, 5, 7, 7, 9. Well, it
West
could be
wind.
that. Maybe they weren't ready on the 5 or the
East wind.
they weren't ready on the cracks.
2 bamboos.
Or they could be doing 5, 7 bam maybe. But yeah.
Green dragon.
Really, with this hand, this category is really hard to do a hand switch on. But
6
again, in the
dots.
early game, just kind of prioritizing. This category is really hard to play with early
Kong.
exposures because if you make an exposure too early, you're really
Red
locked into that
dragon.
hand. Whereas with other categories, you can kind of
Green
flip flop
dragon.
around. But again, with this category, with
White
switching, it's really
dragon.
hard to do, but just really be on the watch for, ooh, let's get rid of that 4.
4
Be
dots.
on the watch for what you're putting out and what is going out,
North
because you
wind.
don't want to end up in a category or with an exposure that places you on a hand
6
that can't be
characters.
made. So that 4 crack still hasn't been discarded yet,
4
which they could be doing a
characters.
2-4. Oh, and there it is. Okay, so let's get rid of the soap here because they may need
White
it.
dragon.
Okay, so the 4 did go
North
out, but I
wind.
didn't get the flower. So again, drawing 1 or 2 tiles.
East wind.
These hands are not my favorite because it really depends on you getting into the tile, but
3 dots.
let's see. Okay, so there's a 3 crack. That one hasn't been out yet. They may
Three
want it for
characters.
369. That's a strong hand. So let's take a look.
9 characters.
And again,
9
yeah, when you're
bamboos.
switching a hand in gameplay, just always have on the back of your head like 2 hands when you're done with the
Joker.
Charleston. So that way, if it comes down to it at the end of the day, you can kind of just go between
Red
2
dragon.
at the start. But again, picking that category, knowing what's
7
interchangeable,
characters.
because when you make an exposure, you're basically either locking yourself into a hand or
2
doing it for a
dots.
specific reason. And make sure if you do call an exposure, it can be played in another hand,
6 characters.
unless you're really close to it. But let's see.
Two
Like for
dots.
this hand, if I made the exposure of that 6 bam, I would have been locked into that 2
2
4 dot 6
characters.
bam 8 crack hand, the third one down. Now we could have maybe have done a 2 4 crack 6 8 bam
7
if we had the 4
bamboos.
cracks, but it doesn't look like those are 2 of them are out
9
already.
characters.
So okay, so there's another soap. I was gonna say we
White
might have been able to
dragon.
keep these soaps and gotten rid of the 2s, and then just maybe have kept 8 8
Red
flowers
dragon.
dragon for any like numbers. That would have been a good option to keep a
White
hold of.
dragon.
But again, we kind of just went for
5
this hand.
bamboos.
All right, so there's another 2 crack. Let's get rid of them.
2 characters.
Yeah, that would have been actually really nice. We could have
2
easily have kept a
bamboos.
hold of those, but no 2
5
dots.
bamboos.
So we discarded one of them, I think, but we didn't get any at the end of the
2
Charleston.
dots.
So okay, so there's another 4 bam.
2 characters.
I'm gonna keep this on back burner here. I'm gonna put on auto pass here. Just because we could go 2 4 6 8. Let me see what's out.
6 bamboos.
Okay, so yeah, 6 crack has been out a lot. So I feel like yeah, we can't
2
switch at the moment here, I
bamboos.
don't think. Only because of the amount of
2
jokers we
dots.
have. Oh, I saw the 4 and I got really excited there.
4 dots.
Just because if we do switch, we have 3 jokers, so 2 4, 1 joker here, and
5
then call
dots.
this, and then we have 2 jokers here, and then we would still need another one to call this 8, and then another one for the 6. So
5
it would have been a stretch of a
characters.
hand, but I mean it is possible. But again, seeing how late game it is, it might be better just to
West
bank on
wind.
getting 1 tile here. And again, discarding a flower super late game, not the smartest move you can do.
4 bamboos.
So 3 bam has not been out yet. Okay. Interesting. So we really need to get into a 4 crack here, or a
8
flower.
dots.
A flower would actually be even nicer, but okay, so they were thinking about it. Maybe they're not ready for it.
3
Is
dots.
that the first 8 dot out? Yes, it is. Okay, so this player hopefully will get rid of the 8 dot.
3
If
dots.
they had one. Okay, so there's a 5 dot. Let's get rid of that.
5 dots.
Don't know what this player, 5 6 7 maybe? 4 5 6? 4 dots went out, so
West wind.
and then maybe this player's doing a wind hand. I don't know.
4 characters.
Oh, and there's the last 4, so
North
we need to get a
wind.
flower or a 4 here. Ooh, a 7 bam. Let's get rid of the 7s. Let's see if they want it.
7 bamboos.
Again, we're just playing to win here at this point. The 4, we need to get into this 4 crack or a
8
flower.
dots.
Urgently. But yeah,
8
this category
dots.
is just so hard to switch off of.
8 characters.
Oh, and there's a 1, so let's get rid of it.
1 character.
Yeah, this 3 bam I feel like is going to give someone Mahjong, but
9
if we get the 4
characters.
or the flower, it might just be best to just,
8 dots.
accept the fate and go with it.
East wind.
And there's our 4 crack. Okay, so we're going to turn auto pass on, and we're going to just hope
3 bamboos.
that this doesn't give Mahjong. But again, we're gonna have to draw into a flower because no one's gonna throw a flower really late game. So yeah.
1 bamboo.
And that 369 hand also has flowers in it as well. So it's very unlikely that we'll get it into it, but we were really close. So that's good.
7 characters.
And again, if this was like a tournament setting or something, I probably would have just gotten rid of the jokers to play safe, knowing that getting into a flower, I only have.
Flower.
Oh my gosh. You got to be joking me. Wow, very nice. Well, we got into the Mahjongg, so very nice. Again, keeping with your hand. I don't understand what. Oh, this player was one off. So they got another flower, and instead of playing it safe, they decided to play it a little risky and wait on the 3 crack. This player had 2 of them, but there was still one available. So yeah, very well. I'm assuming this player would have just got rid of jokers, which anyone does. But again, really displaying that getting rid of a hot tile, like a flower at the end game, could lead to a mahjong of someone. So again, very, very confusing play there. But again, we're going to get into another game here. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's just wait out here. But yeah, again, some things there. We waited until the end, but we did play it a little risky, getting rid of that 3 bamboo. I don't know if that was necessarily the right play there, because again, in a tournament setting, that would have maybe led to a mahjong of some sort, and that meant that if they, if they had exposures or something like that, yeah, well, again, they didn't obviously have exposures, but if it was a pretty big hand, that could have led to a really big point deduction. So, but again, we stuck with it and we got there somehow. So, yeah, very lucky on our part there. But when you're looking at the 2468 category for a hand switch, be on the lookout for, again, the hands you can declare with. I find that very important to know, like, basically when you're switching a hand, when you have your hand ideas in your mind, know what you want to put up for an exposure and see what you have to put with it, because you don't want to put up an exposure with a joker. If, like, let's say you have one joker and you want to put up an exposure, see if the other hand has that same, like, pun or con, and see if it's like a hard, like, if you have, let's say you have 2 7 dots, or let's make it easy. Let's say you have 2 9 dots and you're playing a consecutive run top hand 5 6 7 8 9, and then you also have one flower on the back end there. So you could maybe switch from 7 8 9 flower to 5 6 7 8 9. If and someone gets rid of the first 9 dot, I would, in that sense, maybe look at my 7 and 8 and say, hey, how are my pairs looking? And, are my puns, am I just missing one tile or am I missing 2? If I have a single 7 and a single 8, I maybe wouldn't call the 9 dot right off that point. But if not, I would take it. Only because if you take that con and you have 2 7s and 2 8s, if a flower or a 7 or 8 build up, then it really plays into that other hand. So when you're playing to switch hand, just basically go with what's looking, how do I say it? Basically, when you're looking to switch hands, the main thing is making the exposure at the right time, and knowing what you put with an exposure is basically what's gonna prevent you from doing it or help you do it. Because I've seen a lot. I've even had it a lot of times happen to me where I basically have made an exposure. Ooh, this is a hard one. I feel like we have to get rid of the 1 dot here, just because I don't want to pass the 2 2. I've had times where I've made an exposure and it basically locked me into a hand. And it's really unfortunate when that happens because it really locked me out of a really good hand. But again, you just really can't predict what's gonna, come through with the wall and what's gonna go out and what people are gonna call without any exposures. So putting a joker with a tile, for even like a pun, I don't usually put a pun with a joker, only if I really need to, because that means that if I put that joker up, that's one less for me to use for switching hand. if I have to late game, or it could be a joker for someone else, which could help them win. So oh gosh, his hand's looking really nice here. So 579 green is looking like the preferred suit. If we pass the one bam, we can easily get a hold of another one, and it is our pair tile for the 13579 hand. But I think if I pass a 1, it's more likely to come back if I pass a 1 rather than a 3. So yeah, so again, that's really the big thing. And again, during my live streams, I'll make sure to cover it again. But the big thing with exposures is if you put a joker with an exposure, make sure that it gives you some sort of value. Don't just call it because, it's a con and, you're doing it early on. So that way you have it already, made. So that way you just have to focus on the other part of the hand, because most times or not, if you draw a tile that maybe is a pair in that hand and you get a pun of it, it could play into another hand even better. So yeah, but again, that's usually the most common mistake I see. Ooh, so we did see a 1 dot go around, so that 135 hand could come in. But again, 579 dragon just is looking amazing here, so we're just gonna keep a hold of this in case we get the 1 bam back. But yeah, just make sure with your exposures when you put a joker with it that it gives you some sort of value, because you don't want to just be throwing jokers out there for people to grab if it doesn't really help you out. Like, I usually only put jokers with puns if it's like the last tile thrown. Like if I have 2 and it's a pun, or if I have 1 and there's only 1 left and someone discards it and it's the last tile, that's usually the only time I do it. Because at that point you really have to. But yeah, that's where you're gonna get all screwed up, is when you start throwing exposures out there. Now there are a lot of hands on this card that involve a con with flowers, so making your cons with jokers being your first, hopefully. Oh, and we got the 1 bam back. That's nice, but making the con with an exposure
dot.
as your first exposure with a joker is really beneficial, because it not only will play into the hand or hands that you chose, but you can also have some switch power all
2
around the
dots.
card. So okay, so let's see. So we got 579 here. A lot of odd
7
tiles, but
characters.
again, we might have been able to keep this. But again, I think
9
13579
characters.
Pier or 579 Dragon or 135
6
Dragon, whatever builds
characters.
up first, is looking pretty solid here. Or
6
if we get a 6
characters.
bam to fit in the middle, oh, and there's
5
57579.
characters.
If we got a 6 bam in the middle here, we could do 567 flower dragon, but I don't see that being a
8
potential.
bamboos.
Excuse me. But yeah.
5 characters.
All right. Let's see. So
8
again,
characters.
and on this hand we didn't start with any jokers, but it is really nice that we picked this specific hand. Again, I'm gonna get
9
rid of the
dots.
9s before the soaps,
Kong.
because yeah, because again,
4 characters.
just seeing what's on the floor. So this means that they're not, well, they probably will want this. So let's get rid of this first. Might be a 5 6 7 8 9 hand, but again, just really be, oh, okay. So this could be a
West
4-5
wind.
flower or a 3-4 flower quint. Or
2
it could be
bamboos.
the third one down as well, and that would involve. Let's get rid of the soap here first.
White
That would
dragon.
involve a 2-3 of the opposite
8
suit. So until
characters.
they make another quint here, we won't really know what other suit they're looking
4
for.
bamboos.
But if they are doing a 2-3 bam 4-4 crack, that means our 3 bam pair is not going
7
to come in.
bamboos.
So, which isn't
1
optimal
character.
for us at all. So
4 bamboos. 9 bamboos.
a 9 bamboo is a pair actually in the 579 13579, but a
7
con
bamboos.
and the other one. So ooh, there's that 6 bamboo that I was talking about. So again, we're gonna get rid of this 2 here.
2 characters.
The only person that could be playing the 2 would be this player. This player can't be using it from my knowledge with
7
what's
dots.
out. So And not a lot of wins have been out
4
either, so...
characters.
Oh, and they drew their own Joker. Very nice. Hopefully we can get a hold of the other one because we need it right now. But if not, the 13579
Red dragon.
having the 2 hands in between is really good because the
1
7
dot.
bam is really the only tile we have to build up on here because the 5 is a con in both hands. So ooh, let's get rid of the 7. Hopefully they don't need it.
7 dots.
But this is a con in 579 Dragon
North
as well as a
wind.
con in the 13579. So if the 7 bam gets
West
thrown out
wind.
again, since there's only one
9
left, it's a pun
characters.
in both of the hands as well. So basically, the
9
only tile you have
characters.
to build up on 579 versus the 13579 would be the
3
9 bam
characters.
because the 5 and 7 basically are the same in both hands. So
3
making an exposure on the
bamboos.
5 bam would be, you know, okay. And even if you just did 135
5
dragons.
bamboos.
So again, just, oh, and there's our con. So yep, we're going to
Kong.
take that there. And let's get rid of that 6 bamboo here.
6 bamboos.
So it really just depends on what comes in next to what we're going to go for. But again, I'm hoping to get a 1
6
or a 3
bamboos.
before I call a 7 or a 9. Because if I call the 7, what do I get
South
rid of? Do I
wind.
get rid of the flower, I
8
guess?
dots.
Yeah, I guess the flower is a safer throw there, but...
8 characters.
Because I guess, actually, you know what? The flower we don't even need because we got rid of the
North
6 bam.
wind.
So yeah, we'll get rid of this one next. But again, if a 7
9
bam gets thrown, there's
bamboos.
only one left, so we may end up taking it. But see, like at this point, we have to make a decision if we want to take that or not. Is that the first one out? That's the second one. So yeah, we're gonna actually take that here.
Kong.
And then we're gonna get rid of the flower. The only reason I did that
Flower.
there is because there is one opportunity to draw into a 4,
Kong.
and I knew they were gonna need that. But
Green dragon.
okay, and then this is gonna be a pun.
Pung.
And then let's get rid of the 1.
1 bamboo.
So the only reason I made that play right off the bat was getting into a pair tile is pretty likely. I
1
don't
dot.
know what this player's doing with that, but this player may be playing a 369.
South
This
wind.
player, so the 3 bam may not be available, but I don't know
East
what this
wind.
player's doing either. So, and again, before that flower exposure, before they put the flowers up, I
South
you know
wind.
had in mind that third hand down. And then getting into a pair tile
West
would have been a
wind.
little easier, but right now we just need to get one more joker and then we're
6
solid.
bamboos.
So, or a 7. So who threw the
8
4? Did I
dots.
throw the 4 crack? Oh, I hope I didn't. I always think about
6
that. I'll
bamboos.
have to go back and see, but hopefully I didn't throw the 4 crack. I think I might have though.
9 characters.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
South
Where is
wind.
it? Oh, actually, you know what? It's not available. Someone exchanged it.
7
Oh, I think they
characters.
exchanged it when they exchanged the first one and it didn't upload or update
West
to
wind.
say there was 0 left. So, but there is still a 9.
8
Oh yeah, that's right.
bamboos.
There is no more 9 bam.
East
That's
wind.
also why I took it there, just because we had the pair of the dragons, so we could just call that, and
Flower.
then we have a chance to draw into a joker here or exchange with someone. And there's our 1 bam, so that would have made our pair there. But
1 bamboo.
again, this 3 bam hasn't gone out recently, so I don't know.
8 bamboos.
Someone could be playing it.
4 bamboos. 2 dots.
And there's our joker. So there we
3
go. Like I
bamboos.
said, again, just playing for potential there. Both ways would have made sense, but just with the hand we
Flower.
had, I feel like it was a lot stronger to keep a hold of a joker. Because if
2
if they were
bamboos.
doing that quint hand, and they
6
for
characters.
somehow, well, I know they're doing the quint hand. So
4
if they were
dots.
doing the 2-3 bam and then 4 dot 4 crack, they would get rid of the 7 bam. But now that we know they're
1
doing like
bamboo.
3 4 or 4 5, they'll get rid
4
of it as
dots.
well. So okay. But again, all we had to draw was just 1 joker in order
Red
for this hand to
dragon.
work. So But with the other hand, we would have had...
4
So
bamboos.
for this hand, the 5/7/9 dragon, we would have had to either draw a joker or get an exchange or draw the 7 bam.
6 dots.
If we played the 1 3 5 7 9, we still would have had to get into the
4
7
dots.
somehow, which we had the
Pong.
jokers to go with it. So I guess that could have been our way to get into it. And
6
then we would have
dots.
had a lot more actually potential to get into the 1 or
8
3 because people
characters.
could discard it and we could call it for Mahjongg. So
1 character.
yeah, the 1 3 5 7 9 hand definitely had a lot more
6 dots.
a lot more probability to win on, but
1 bamboo.
again, it just felt better. Again, that 3 bam hasn't
8
gone out yet, so I
dots.
don't know. It could be a pair, maybe.
Red dragon.
I don't know. It could be a pair, maybe. I don't know.
Green dragon.
But are there any 4 dots available? Nope. Okay, so
5
4.
dots.
So 3, 4,
Pong.
5 jokers are out.
6 characters.
Okay, and that's good because this player will
East
also
wind.
get rid of the 7 bam if they draw it because they look like they're pretty close as well. So,
White dragon.
ooh,
Pung.
oh, okay.
2 bamboos.
2 bamboos.
Hopefully we can get into that white dragon before they can. 7
White
dot.
dragon.
Ooh, 7 dot's been out twice, so there's still
2
2
dots.
left. So, ooh, there's a high chance to
8
draw it.
bamboos.
So let's hope they get the 7 bam before the 7 dot.
3 characters.
And they weren't ready for the 3. They must have got a
1
7 dot or a
character.
joker there.
Pung. 5 characters.
Oh, this is weird. So 3, 4, 5,
1 dot.
6. A lot of jokers are out here, so
7 bamboos.
and there's our 7 bam. So yay, we got it.
Mahjong.
Perfect. All right. So like I said again, when we made that exposure of the 5 bam, that played into both hands. But again, we looked to see kind of what was the similarities between the 2 hands, and that's what helped us honestly win. Playing 1 3 5 7 9 would have allowed us to have less of a luck chance involved with it. But again, I wasn't too sure where these greens were gonna go, because they could have been needing them for the quint hand, but again, this hand worked out as well easily enough, so very nice. And that's going to conclude this series, or I guess this episode. But again, I feel like the main thing with switching a hand is it varies game by game. But basically, just be on the lookout for what hand like when you pick your category. Find a hand or two that are interchangeable. And again, that's why I said in the first video, learn your categories and what hands are in them. Because if you learn the category and what hands are in them, then it allows you to switch better. And then after you pick a hand or two, find the similarities in what you have in your hand, and then that'll allow you to kind of switch and see what comes in versus what doesn't, and what you call, if it helps one hand better than the other, or if it helps them both. If it helps them both, then definitely I would go for it. But again, this game is super hard to just teach a subject and not show numerous amounts of gameplay because every game is different, as we all know from playing the game. But again, during my live streams, I will be going over this more. So again, this is just a brief kind of intro and stuff to kind of what I do as a player. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. But again, the big takeaways is when you're looking at a category and similar hands, kind of figure out what pun or cons are similar or pairs. And then kind of play around those as opposed to just playing around, jokers. Because if you play around the pun and cons, it might let you play into both of the hands or switch to something else on the card. If you do a con of a number, obviously we talked about the flower hands on the card, but other than that, though, that's going to do it for this video. And again, we'll catch you guys on the live stream next week. And we'll definitely go over these a little bit brief or a little bit more in depth. So have a good one, everyone.